We're live. My name is Hyla Crane, and I'm the Executive Director of the Marco Island Center for the Arts, and we're so glad that you could join us today. Right now, in our main galleries, we have a fabulous exhibition entitled Earth Day, which includes the work of Karen Swamper, Judy Chinsky, Judy Becker, Lori Spinozzi, and Deborah Martin. But we are so excited because in our La Petite Gallery, and it has just arrived, is the work of Mara Darrow, who is a photographer. Hi, Mara. How are you?
Hey, Hyla. I'm great. Thank you.
We're so glad you could be with us today. Now, Mara, can you tell us a little bit about your exhibition in La Petite? What was the inspiration? How you went about deciding what you were going to put into the exhibition, how it was curated?
Well, I'm really excited about the exhibition. It's my very first fine art exhibition. I've done a lot of portrait photography and event photography and wedding photography in the past, and I'm really enjoying focusing on what really moves me and what I really enjoy capturing behind the lens. And what I'm inspired by, first of all, is nature and really looking at the simplest things in life that are around us and just finding like the most dreamy beauty, the most kind of awe-inspiring beauty in like very small and simple things that are around us, typically in nature. And I happen to be a person who loves bold statements of color. And so when I was curating my pieces and my images that I wanted to showcase for the exhibition, I really wanted it to be pieces that were striking in color and that really kind of stretched the imagination as far as, looking at how something very tiny and very small and very simple could really just be powerful and bold and exciting. And that's kind of what led me to the pieces that I decided to exhibit there.
Well, one of the pieces is behind me, and indeed that whole sort of macro photography where we're looking at it, and I know what it actually is quite small, and yet you've gone in and created the whole world of, in this case, it's flowers. The exhibition really is stunning, Mara. So my friends out there are going to understand. These are very large pieces. All of these photographs have been printed on metal. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So they've got a real sort of dynamic quality to them, and we are just so excited to have them here at the Art Center. It's hard to believe, Mara, that this is the first time you've ever displayed fine art photography, because you would seem to be an old hand at it based on the quality of the work that is here for us. It's really, really lovely. Of the pieces, do you have a favorite of the ones that you're exhibiting?
Well, I have to say one that's pictured behind you is definitely one of my favorites, just because I love the colors, because the colors really speak to me, and they're kind of unusual colors to see in nature. The blue that kind of comes through in the back and all that, the way that the light was hitting the foliage that was a little more distant from the flower, just created this like kind of explosion of color that was a little more off your typical spectrum of what you might see in nature.
And outside of the work being printed on metal, none of this has been manipulated. None of this is all what you saw by getting it close. None of this has been photoshopped or adjusted. And I know that digital art is very popular now, and something, in fact, our exhibition for August and September is going to be a call to artists. And the theme is art made with or about technology. So we want to embrace that. And we're excited to see what may arrive, hoping maybe something with video even. But this is what you saw in the camera. None of this has been changed or adjusted.
Let me explain how I'm really a purist. I really believe that it's important to capture the image you really want to share from what you're really seeing. So I'm very specific about my lens choice, about my focal distance choice, about my light source, which all of these are natural light, but of course, time of day, angle, and everything else play into, capturing that image. It's not just, oh, there's a pretty flower, let me take a picture of it. I shoot all my images in RAW, and then I process them in Lightroom. So when I say process, none of them are manipulated to a point where they're changing the image at all from what it was captured in the camera. But what I'm doing is I'm taking the pixels that I captured in my raw image, and sometimes you have to, boost the contrast a little bit, or boost or lower exposure, and then possibly play with your highlights and shadows a little bit. But other than that, no pixels have been manipulated as far as, changing the image from what it was originally captured out of the camera. And that's really just basically getting the image that you captured ready to become put into a printable form.
Well, as I said, I have my favorite in the exhibition, and that is the one that looks almost as if a rainbow has been put over the water, and yet I know, because we've talked about it, there are birds in the foreground, and it's sort of amazing that you caught it. Can you tell the story about how it's a really vibrant rainbow, but it would seem as though you had to have superimposed that onto the water where we see it, but how did that actually occur?
Well, I can see why you question that, because the image there's a lot going on in that image. I took that picture at Lake Eola in downtown Orlando, and I happened to be, at the time, I was shooting a senior portrait session with a young person for their high school graduation photos, and I saw these birds out on the lake there, and it had been during a kind of a drought time, so they're standing on all these mangled roots and vines that are typically covered underwater, but the water level at the time was 4 feet, shallower than what it normally is. And so it just created this amazing sculptural effect. And I was so intrigued by these two birds because they were so beautiful. And as I got closer to the image and started zooming in on it, and then, playing around with my composition, I saw that there was a reflection in the water from a amphitheater that they have in the park there that's painted in rainbow colors. And so I kind of just, I kind of walked around, the image a little bit so I could get that rainbow effect, reflecting in the water. And it was amazing. I couldn't have put that together or staged it any better. And it happened to be just what I came upon. And I saw it and just, I thought I had to capture that. And I'm really thrilled with that image because I think it really stirs the imagination. It's a pretty cool image.
I go into the gallery and look at that because, as you said, there is a lot going on. There are sort of layers that you can look at. But again, the use of color is so vibrant. It just draws you into the piece. And congratulations. I mean, it's a beautiful exhibition. We feel very privileged to have your work in our La Petite Gallery. Now, Mara, you are artistic in so many ways. I know this because we have chatted before, but you've been an actress, you're an interior designer. I mean, sort of what has been your arc of artistry or being involved in both the performing arts and the visual arts? How has that all sort of played together in your journey?
Well, I'm not sure how much of an arc it is, as opposed to kind of a haphazard,
up, down.
through life. Obviously I spent the majority of my life raising my 5 children. And when I was a youngster, I was very involved in theater and all, and I was very interested in acting. And I always thought that would be my path. And so after I graduated from high school, I moved out to LA and was auditioning for different TV and movie opportunities and things like that. And I was dating somebody from home, and kind of got sidetracked, fell in love and all that, and moved back to Wisconsin and started a family and raised a family. And so I kind of deterred from the whole acting thing. And then as I was raising my family, I was, dabbling in photography quite a bit, because as with kids and stuff, I was taking pictures all the time. And that kind of led to all kinds of opportunities with the portrait photography and lots of sports photography and wedding photography and all that. So that's something I did, and never did it full time because I was busy raising the kids, but I did it, throughout the years, and honed my skills and my eye and all. And then later in life, as the kids got older, I got involved in the acting again, and done some film work and some TV work. And my educational background before I had kids was interior design in school. And so that was always, so that's my training. But aside from my own homes and helping, family and friends with homes over the years, because I was busy raising the kids, it wasn't until now, later in life, that I'm actually doing it professionally. And I'm doing it here down in Naples, and I'm just loving it. I really enjoy it. I love the people I meet. I love the creative side of it, obviously, because we all are creatives, right? That's part of the artistry. So I guess I'm hopefully I'm not just a jack of all trades and a master of none. But I really put my heart and soul and my passion into all of it.
I would say that you are a master of many. And again, I mean, you talk about creativity, and I'm always talking to people about how we all are creative. I know the people who turn to me and say, I could never paint, or I don't draw, or I could never do this. And as you said, you could be creative in so many ways. Creative in the performing arts, creative in the visual arts, creative when you're decorating your home or cooking dinner or planting flowers in a garden. That creativity is something, there are multiple avenues for people to explore it. You just happen to be very good at a lot of them, Mara.
Well, thank you. I really, I just believe that whether it be a beautiful photograph or a painting or an interior space, I just think that there's something about having an element of beauty that speaks to either yourself or you help create it for somebody else, that makes people feel like where they are is just special and right, and just in gives you a sense of comfort, a sense of energy, and a sense of this is the space that I want to be, because this speaks to me. And I think that you can get that through visual arts. You can get that through interior spaces that are done beautifully. And I just think you need to create peace and beauty around you, because the world's such a crazy place. My God.
I was about to say,
we all need that.
We could all use a little more peace and beauty in our life. That is probably one of the most honest and compelling statements, and something we can all agree to. Now, Mara, with all of these different artistic interests, who or what has been the major influence for you? And it may be a couple of people. There may be somebody when you were working as an actress. There may be somebody who has really influenced your photography, or somebody now in the field of interior design. But who have been, I guess, the major influences on you?
You know what? I can't say that I can't give you any names or people. It's really just been my experiences through life. I've been blessed to travel a lot through life. I've been blessed to spend time with people of all walks of life. And I think that I just take energy from everyday people I meet. Everybody. There's not one, inspiration or influence in my life. I find inspiration, influence every single day.
I think that I think we all do a little bit. I think sometimes we don't stop and think about it or notice it, but yes, the world around us is constantly impacting us and shaping what we do, how we think, how we move forward. And however your path has been, Mara, as I say, when it leads to something like this, to the work that we're seeing down in our La Petite Gallery, it's truly marvelous. And it really is a place when you walk in that you feel you are surrounded by beauty. It was something one of the young people who attended our opening this week, spoke to me about, how she was always trying to find beauty in the world. And when she walked into the exhibition, it spoke to her, and that was what she really found. So I encourage all my friends out there to come on down to the Marco Island Center for the Arts at 1010 Winterberry Drive here on lovely Marco Island and visit our Earth Day exhibition, as well as visiting our La Petite Galerie Exhibition with Mara Darrow's photography. We are very busy here getting ready for next year, so for you, tonight we have the last in our environmental speaker series. Dr. Mike Savarese from Florida Gulf Coast University will be joining us at 5:30. We're almost full for that, so if you want to stop by, please do. And outside of that, we want you always to remember that when you come here to Marco Island Center for the Arts, whether you're coming to us in the digital way or whether you cross our doorstep, we think of you as our art family, and we work every day in everything we do to be your art home. Mara, thank you so much for joining us. My friends out there, we're saying goodbye and tune in for our next episode.